she gets things done. Look, I'm a big fan of Elizabeth Warren. I'm an enormous fan of Elizabeth Warren, and she said things that needed to be said, as Bernie has, for some time. I think she'd make a fine vice presidential candidate. I'd be shocked if she accepted if she was offered, because this is true of Bernie, too. They are two of the most activist, standout members of the Senate in terms of saying things that other people won't say. And you can't do that when you're the vice president. You've got to toe the line and be the number 2 person. There are a number of senators who have more power in the Senate than they would as vice president. So my guess is that even if she were offered it, she wouldn't take it.
Well, thank you very much, Howard Dean. Governor Dean, right now we're looking at live pictures of Hillary Clinton taking the stage at the it is the Planned Parenthood Action Fund is the precise title of the group. And this is her constituency. She was introduced by Cecile Richards. And we're going to take some of that speech.
Thank you all. I have to say, pink never looked so good. I want to thank my friend and your courageous leader, Cecile Richards. You know, Cecile really is the definition of grace under pressure. She has proven that time and time again over the course of her career, and particularly over the last few years. She really is like another great American, her mother, Ann Richards, who was a friend of mine, and I just wish Ann were here to see this election. She'd have Donald Trump tweeting double time. We reached a milestone together this week, thanks to you and people all over our country. For the first time, a woman will be a major party's nominee for President of the United States. And yesterday, I had the great honor of being endorsed by President Obama and Vice President Biden, and by Senator Elizabeth Warren. So it's been a big week, and there's nowhere I'd rather end it than right here with the Planned Parenthood Action Fund. I'm grateful to the entire Planned Parenthood family. You made this campaign your own. Whether you knocked on doors in Iowa or rallied in California, this victory belongs to all of you. And it belongs to the 1,000 young activists who came together in Pittsburgh last month to get organized. It belongs to the staff, the donors, and to the providers like Dr. Amna Dermish in Texas, who called out Donald Trump when he said women should be punished for having abortions, and the open letter she wrote defending her patients' right to make their own health decisions should be required reading for every politician in America. And I am deeply conscious of the reality that this victory belongs to generations of brave women and men who fought for the radical idea that women should determine our own lives and futures. And it belongs to the women and men who continue to fight for that idea today, even in the face of threats and violence. When a man who never should have had a gun killed 3 people at Planned Parenthood in Colorado Springs, leaders in this room voted unanimously to keep health centers across America open the next day. And the CEO of Planned Parenthood Rocky Mountains made a promise to patients in Colorado and beyond when she said, "Our doors and our hearts stay open." That is really what Planned Parenthood is all about. So today, I want to start by saying something you don't hear often enough. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being there for women, no matter their race, sexual orientation, or immigration status. Thank you for being there for Natasha McQueen in Brooklyn, who told me how Planned Parenthood caught her breast cancer when she was just 33 years old and saved her life. Thank you for being there for college students getting STD testing, the young people who have the tough questions that they're afraid to ask their parents, the sexual assault survivors who turn to Planned Parenthood for compassionate care, the transgender teens who come for an appointment and find the first place where they can truly be themselves. Thank you for being there for your communities, whether that means taking on hostile politicians in Louisiana or handing out clean drinking water in Flint, Michigan. And thank you for being there for every woman in every state who has to miss work, drive hundreds of miles sometimes, endure cruel, medically unnecessary waiting periods, walk past angry protesters to exercise her constitutional right to safe and legal abortion. I've been proud to stand with Planned Parenthood for a long time. And as president, I will always have your back. Because I know that for a century, Planned Parenthood has worked to make sure that women, men, young people who count on you can lead their best lives, healthy, safe, and free to follow their dreams. Just think, when Planned Parenthood was founded, women couldn't vote or serve on juries in most states. It was illegal even to provide information about birth control, let alone prescribe it. But people marched and organized, they protested unjust laws, and in some cases even went to prison. And slowly but surely, America changed for the better. 51 years ago this week, thanks to a Planned Parenthood employee named Estelle Griswold, the Supreme Court legalized birth control for married couples across America. When I used to teach law, and I would point to this case, a look of total bewilderment would come across my students' faces. And not long after that, Roe v. Wade guaranteed the right to safe, legal abortion, so young women were no longer dying in emergency rooms and back alleys from botched, illegal abortions. And this is a fact that is not often heard, but I hope you will repeat it. America's maternal mortality rate dropped dramatically. And it turns out, being able to plan their families not only saved women's lives, it also transformed them, because it meant that women were able to get educations, build careers, enter new fields, and rise as far as their talent and hard work would take them. All the opportunities that follow when women are able to stay healthy and choose whether and when to become mothers. And you know so well, today the percentage of women who finish college is 6 times what it was before birth control was legal. Women represent half of all college graduates in America and nearly half our labor force, and our whole economy then is better off. The movement of women into over the past 40 years was responsible for more than $3.5 trillion in growth in our economy. And here's another fact that doesn't get enough attention. Unintended pregnancy, teen pregnancy, and abortion rates are at all-time record lows. That reality and studies confirm what Planned Parenthood knew all along. Accurate sex education and effective, affordable contraception work. And you know, it wasn't so long ago that Republicans and Democrats actually stood together on these issues. Back in the 90s, when I helped create the National Campaign to Prevent Teen Pregnancy, I worked with Republicans to get it done. Now, things feel quite different now, don't they? Instead of working to continue the progress we've made, Republicans, led now by Donald Trump, are working to reverse it. When Donald Trump says, "Let's make America great again," that is code for let's take America backward. Back to a time when opportunity and dignity were reserved for some, not all. Back to the days when abortion was illegal, women had far fewer options, and life for too many women and girls was limited. Well, Donald, those days are over. We are not going to let Donald Trump or anyone else turn back the clock. And that means we've got to get to work. Because as you know better than anyone, right now, across the country, rights that women should be able to take for granted are under attack. Any day now, the Supreme Court will rule on the Texas law that imposes burdensome and medically unnecessary requirements on abortion providers. If these restrictions are allowed to stand, 5.4 million women of reproductive age will be left with about 10 health centers that provide abortion in a state the size of France. It is the biggest challenge to Roe v. Wade in a generation. It's also yet another reminder of what's at stake on the Supreme Court. President Obama has done his job and nominated Merrick Garland to be the 9th justice. It's time for the Senate Republicans to do their job. The Senate should give Judge Garland the hearing he deserves. Now, meanwhile, in just the first 3 months of 2016, states across the country introduced more than 400 restrictions on abortion. 11 states have defunded Planned Parenthood in the last year, cutting some women off from their only health care provider. And of course, on a national level, Republicans in Congress have been willing to shut down the entire federal government over Planned Parenthood funding. Have you ever noticed that the same politicians who are against sex education, birth control, and safe and legal abortion are also against policies that would make it easier to raise a child, like paid family leave? They are for limited government everywhere, except when it comes to interfering with women's choices and rights.